covers the South Texas coast. Hurricane watches are in effect for the South Texas coast and northeastern Mexico. Good evening and good morning. I'm Dave Schwartz. This is your tropical update. Following this tropical storm all day and ever since it began as an upper-level low-pressure area over the Atlantic Ocean is our hurricane expert, Dr. Steve Lyons, and he's got the very latest.
Well, thanks, Dave, and we've got some information from the Hurricane Center, and I'll show you some radar imagery that's rather captivating, and good news also for the U.S. coastline anyway. Here's the latest from the Hurricane Center, 12 a.m. Central Daylight Time, winds 70 miles per hour, so still strong tropical storm, not a hurricane yet, moving west at 20, and that west is ever so slightly south of west. Pressure 991 millibars. We have hurricane warnings up for Baffin Bay down to La Pesca, Mexico, and a tropical storm warning up northward to Port O'Connor. Now, when you look at the satellite imagery here, you can see a very interesting pattern. The overall circulation looks huge and very ominous on the satellite imagery, and it's very difficult to find the circulation center, but let's look on the radar imagery here. That's a whole other story. There you see the circulation center right there, and it's not all that well defined. It's rather broad, not showing any signs of rapid intensification. Unlike the radar signature we saw in Claudette, this signature shows a much more persistent, and if there's any intensification, very slow. The other thing, it's moving very slow. It looks like it may cut just south of Brownsville or just over Brownsville. Either way, the impact will be about the same, and let me show you what those impacts are. But before I do that, let me just say that we had a lot of rain bands come into the north, and they dissipated. This upper level low here has produced a boundary that's really curtailed all the rain development north of the extreme South Texas area the last 6 to 12 hours. And so we're left with rain in a very concentrated area in South Texas and northern Mexico. So the impact at the coast, all elements we expect to be low. Tropical storm or weak hurricane at landfall. Rainfall 2 to 4 inches plus in South Texas near Brownsville. Waves 10 to 15 feet at the coast and surge 2 to 4 feet. That might be a little bit higher farther to the south. If it moves a little bit farther south into Mexico, it could be upwards of about 5 feet. So those are the impacts we expect from the circulation. In the next 3 to 5 hours, it should be onshore and then weakening quickly once it moves inland. And it should move inland quickly. Dave, what's the latest in the rest of the tropics?
Well, it's pretty quiet in the rest of the tropics, Dr. Lyons. Rest of the Gulf of Mexico, clear. East Coast beaches look fine for Saturday. The Caribbean, North Atlantic, and Pacific look just great. Let's get the very latest. I do want to show you this tornado watch that's in effect. Typically put out in the northeast quadrant of a landfalling strong tropical storm or hurricane. So that's south of Corpus Christi all the way to Brownsville tonight. That is a possibility. There may be some warnings issued. But as you can see, in the wake of this tropical storm, it's quiet back to Florida, out to the Bahamas, down into the Caribbean. An area of disturbed weather is being monitored down here near Nicaragua, but it's so close to land that the tropical development is not likely, certainly. Rest of the Caribbean looks fine from Puerto Rico out through the islands and almost all the way to the African continent. There is an area of low pressure here south of the Cape Verdes. That'll move west. We have plenty of time to monitor that one. If you're headed to the Mexican Riviera this weekend, boy, it doesn't look any better than this. Just a few weak areas of swirl out here over the Pacific. Not to worry. That's your tropical update, my friend. Tropical storm Erika. Jim Cantori is standing by live on South Padre Island. He'll have a report for you after this.
Evening Edition is sponsored by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Here's a fresh idea from Gerber. Peel open all that good nutrition, that fresh picked taste in a lighter, more convenient package. Gerber's Easy Pack is easy to carry, easy to stack, and as always, very easy to eat.
This is a Honda certified used car. Even if you take away its 150-point inspection, its comprehensive 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty, and its concurrent 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, you're left with one undeniable, completely comforting fact. It may be used, but it's still a Honda.
For a limited time, get special APR financing as low as 4.9% for up to 60 months on all Honda certified used cars.
It feels like 5 sets of hands massaging my legs.
You have to feel this to believe it.
You're watching the amazing reactions to the new AirPress massager.
Hi, I'm Pat Murphy-Stark to tell you about the compressed air massage system that makes your legs and feet feel incredible. Just slip your legs into the air press boots. Use the handheld remote to turn them on. You'll immediately feel the chamber fill with air and begin to knead your calves and feet, making sore muscles just melt away. The compressed air gently applies and releases pressure, soothing calves, ankles, and feet at the same time.
After a long day, there's nothing better than taking off my shoes, lying on the couch, and getting a great foot massage.
After I work out, my legs are so sore, but the air press massager soothes my muscles. My legs feel great.
I'm on my feet all day, and my feet really hurt. These boots make me feel like a new person.
When I wear heels, my feet and ankles get so swollen. Air press feels so good. Air press is so quiet, you'll enjoy a relaxing treatment anywhere. Now that I'm expecting, I really enjoy it.
Through Wednesday, with temperatures in the 80s on Monday.
We've been keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Erika all morning. The storm made landfall just recently, packing winds of 70 miles an hour, hitting the northeastern part of the Mexico coast.
Here's the latest look at the storm. A very strong tropical storm. As Bob mentioned, winds at 70 miles an hour. Current position 40 miles to the south-southeast of Brownsville, Texas. Moving still very quickly to the west at 18, producing the heaviest rainfall across parts of northern Mexico. So what will happen as Tropical Storm Erika? What happened when it made landfall? Well, hurricane expert Dr. Steve Lyons explains.
Tropical Storm Erika is making landfall in northern Mexico now, south of Matamoros near Santa Teresa in northern Mexico. Let me show you the latest satellite image and show you what's going on associated with the system. As you look at the satellite imagery, you can see a couple of features. First of all, notice how the overall cloud pattern has shrunk in size. Here's the final size near landfall, but look at how much of the cloud has vanished up in central Texas and south central Texas here. Very little rainfall there. All the rain has been confined just to the very southern portions of South Texas. Now let's look at the latest radar image. You can see the circulation center coming onshore right here. There's a circulation onshore, and the banding features associated with it are on the southern side. The northern side, the bands are much weaker, and the rainfall is continuing to deteriorate on the northern side. We're going to still see some showers move onshore, but not near as strong as they were when the circulation was a little bit offshore. The system is going to weaken very quickly as it moves toward the west inland, and so we expect the wind impacts along the coast to be much less than they were right at landfall. Now, the big problem with why this system shrunk so much, and the saving grace really for a lot of the rainfall, is associated with a couple of features. The primary feature has been this upper level low pressure system. Notice these winds out of the west here, and then they're turning right along this boundary, and that boundary is a merger with the east winds that are pushing our tropical storm toward the coast. That merger of those two wind fields has produced a sinking area there, what we call a subsidence zone, and it's really cleared out the area of a lot of cloud, especially along the Texas coastline. Now that boundary is now pushing inland a little bit, and that's allowing a lot of that rain to move inland into the northern Mexico area. So that's where we're going to expect the most rainfall over the next 6 to 12 hours. But it's going to be rather minimal relative to what we could have expected from a stronger system that was much larger in size. So that's a look at the landfall situation.
All right, thanks a lot. Hurricane expert Dr. Steve Lyons. Want to show you the latest radar picture again across parts of South Texas and into parts of northern Mexico. As Steve mentioned, it is already making landfall to the south of Brownsville, Texas. Still problems, though, with showers and storms across areas of South Texas, where we do still have a tornado watch that's in effect until 7 o'clock local time, and also flood watches are in effect for the potential for as much as 3 to 5 inches of rain. The brunt of the storm, though, affecting northeastern Mexico as everything's rapidly racing its way towards to the west at about 18 miles an hour. Still, hurricane advisories are in effect from Baffin Bay, Texas to La Pesca, Mexico. And as we take a look here in the rest of the Atlantic basin, well, there is a disturbance that is to the south of the Cape Verde Islands. However, right now, no tropical formation is expected at this time. Across areas of the eastern Pacific, no problems here, but across parts of the central Pacific, we do have a tropical depression here that could potentially develop into a tropical storm.
And one thing to keep in mind regarding the landfall of Tropical Storm Erika is that tornadoes are possible with this landfall.
That's right. And of course, be sure to stay with us. We will have much more on Tropical Storm Erika as Weekend Now continues. Kelly Cass and Bill Keneally are coming up next.
Stay with us for your local on the 8s.
Property owners, if weeds and brush are taking over your property, call 1-800-960-1414 to learn how you can try out a DR field and brush mower risk-free. The DR is a walk-behind version of a big tractor-mounted brush mower that's easier to handle and a lot less expensive. So if your land is too overgrown for an ordinary mower, call now for free details about the amazing DR field and brush mower.
DR is professional power for homeowners.
I'm Stanley Johnson. I've got a great family. I've got a 4-bedroom house in a great community. Like my car? It's new. I even belong to the local golf club. How do I do it? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs.
Need a smart way to consolidate your debt? At LendingTree.com, you can combine all your separate high-interest charges into one low monthly payment. Call 1-800-831-0223.
I can barely pay my finance charges.
Right now, you can take advantage of home equity rates as low as 3.75%, and your interest may be tax deductible.
Somebody help me.
Come to LendingTree.com, where banks compete and you choose the loan that's right for you. When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com. Call 1-800-831-0223.
There's more to protecting your family in the summertime than knowing which sunscreen to use. You've got to make sure they're...
Expect fair skies Monday through Wednesday with temperatures in the 80s on Monday.
Well, it's 50 minutes past the top of the hour, and of course that means it is time for our tropical update. And the headline today, of course, has been Tropical Storm Erika. Here's the very latest on Tropical Storm Erika as of the 10 a.m. advisory, positioned at 55 miles southwest of Matamoros, Mexico, with winds at 50 miles an hour, moving very rapidly, continuing on this rapid pace out of the west at 17 miles an hour, and the pressure's at 29.56 inches, or an estimated 1,001 millibars. Here's the latest look at Erika, the visible satellite pictures showing that Erika rapidly moved on shore around 5 o'clock this morning local time and did produce gusty winds. In fact, around Brownsville, winds were gusting to near 50 miles an hour. Sustained winds, though, much lower, in around 33 miles an hour. Now, Erika is continuing to push its way on shore, and basically most of Old Mexico and northern Old Mexico being affected with some areas of heavy rain. Erika still could produce some areas of 3 to 6 inches of rainfall across even parts of South Texas. If we get some thunderstorm activity, could spawn even a few isolated tornadoes. But the bulk of the activity, though, going into parts of northern Mexico. One thing with this system has been that the rainfall amounts so far have actually been fairly light, generally around an inch or so associated with Tropical Storm Erika, but again with the heaviest rain going into parts of Mexico, the winds being the biggest impact. Right now out of Brownsville, you can see everything is basically dry, and we're starting to quiet down a little bit, but on the northern fringes of our radar picture, there's still some feeder bands here that are producing some thunderstorm activity. As we take a look at the rest of the Atlantic Basin, most locations are generally quiet. However, there is an area of disturbed weather that is south of the Cape Verde Islands that, of course, we will continue to monitor over the next several days. As we take you into the eastern Pacific, everything is actually very quiet, which we haven't seen a lot of activity in the eastern Pacific at all this year. And here's another glance at Erika as it's pushing its way into parts of Mexico. I want to take you now into the central Pacific, where we do have a tropical depression. This is 1C, and if you have plans to head to Hawaii, for example, good news here is that it's not going to affect the islands. It's currently positioned at 370 miles to the south-southwest of Hilo, Hawaii. Winds at 35 miles an hour, moving to the the west at 14, an estimated pressure of 29.80 inches or 1,009 millibars. Now, Tropical Depression 1C is expected to continue on its westward track, basically in the same forward speed that it's going as of right now. However, there could be some intensification, slight intensification with this as it continues westward in the next 72 hours. But it doesn't look like we will really see much effects here towards the big island of Hawaii. Maybe some swells is about all that you would actually see. So really not too many problems here. As we take you into the western Pacific, overall most locations are relatively quiet. However, we do have a tropical depression 12W that is to the northeast of Guam, and of course we will continue to monitor that over the next 24 hours. Back across the lower 48, once again, still some scattered showers due to Tropical Storm Erika pushing their way across parts of South Texas, and the winds are still very gusty in South Texas. You can see around Brownsville still gusting at times over 30 miles an hour. These are the wind gusts, not the sustained winds, which are lower. Flood watch is still in effect across parts of South Texas, but most locations should mainly stay dry with a few isolated storms coming in later this afternoon. Across the southeastern U.S., wet weather developing, especially across parts of South Florida and through the Florida Keys. Heavy downpours here, while isolated severe weather is a possibility in the northeast, where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of Maine. We'll have more coming up.
It takes focus, determination, innovative technology, but they're nothing without the human effort. That's what it takes to create new medicines. Like the 3 Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines that helped me beat my cancer.
Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb's breakthrough treatments bring hope to those with cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses.
Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
Hey, welcome.
What's with all the light? Keeps the roaches out. They hate lights.
Cheese?
Here's a better idea. Call Terminex. More people trust us to solve their pest problems. 1-800-Terminex.
Suarez, I have some good news. I'm taking you out.
Oh, you said you had good news.
I do. I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Give me the ball.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Fact, it takes seconds for a kid to pick up a virus. Lysol disinfectant spray kills 99.9% of illness-causing viruses in seconds. No spray kills more. Lysol spray beats viruses, and nothing beats Lysol spray. That's a fact.
Is this how you trim your lawn? Or is this your method? Why hassle with trimmer spools that...
Expect fair skies Monday through Wednesday with temperatures in the 80s on Monday.
It is 10 till the top of the hour. It is time now for your tropical update. I'm meteorologist Warren Madden. Let's go to South Padre Island, Texas, where these scenes show the winds blowing from Tropical Storm Erika as it came ashore early this morning, centered making landfall just south of the border in northeastern Mexico. At this hour, though, Erika's threat greatly diminished as it has now weakened into a tropical depression, and the heavier rains are confined to just a small area over northern Mexico. Here's a little detail on the landfall. When it made landfall early this morning, somewhere around 4 a.m. Central Time, and there you see it. Actually 6 a.m. Central Time at northeastern Mexico. Peak measured winds, sustained winds though, not all that much on north of the border, and rainfall totals not all that bad either. A little over an inch both at McAllen and at Brownsville. So really not too much impact north of the border. Here's the situation now, and we look at Tropical Depression Erika, and we do see that it is headed inland now, turning a bit more southwesterly as of 4 p.m. Central Time. The latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center centered the system 70 miles south-southeast of Monterrey, heading
west-southwest at 17 miles an hour. Top winds now down below tropical storm force at 35 miles an hour. Here's another closer look at it over the last 12 hours, and we can see that, yeah, we've seen occasional flare-ups of convection near the center of circulation, but overall, this is not going to be a major player in terms of wind, but rain's still a problem. As this heads up into the mountains here, watch out, could have some heavier flooding with that rainfall here in northeastern Mexico. But as far as north of the border, hey, no problems at all. In fact, once you get up past, say, South Padre up toward Corpus Christi, it's pretty clear at the moment, although we do have some showers and storms traveling along the I-10 corridor, Houston heading out to the west towards San Antonio. As far as the rest of the Atlantic goes, relatively quiet conditions, but there is another area that we're watching, and that's here to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. It is tracking westward, but still several days away from the islands. We'll watch it carefully, and it looks like another batch of showers and storms just getting ready to emerge off of the West African coast. And this time of the year, that's the area that we're really starting to watch. Look at this. Over the period from 1886 to 2002, the middle third of August, look at this cluster of storms that formed out over the tropical Atlantic. So we're starting to get into the season where storms do form in that long trek across from Africa, although we also have seen several storms in this period forming both in the Caribbean, the Gulf, and off the southeast coast. And next year, there'll be a new dot here near South Florida for the formation point of Tropical Storm Erika. Speaking of the South Florida area, we're seeing some stronger storms on land blowing up. Hillsborough and Pasco counties just issued a severe thunderstorm watch, the National Weather Service did for you. But as far as offshore, we are quiet in the Caribbean Sea and relatively quiet here in the Gulf, although we have a little patch of storms here in the central Gulf, but nothing, it's more of a linear feature than anything that is spinning up. As far as the islands, well, as the sun starts fading out here a little bit, we do see some showers in the southern islands, the Grenadines, and heading up just to the south of Barbados, but the northern islands not looking too bad here on this Saturday. As we go into the Gulf of Mexico, there again we see that cluster of storms in the central Gulf, but again it's mostly a linear feature. On the west coast of Mexico, things relatively quiet. We'll watch this little disturbed area for you, but there is a tropical depression south of Hawaii as of 2 p.m., centered 400 miles southeast of Pearl Harbor, and it's headed westbound.
Geico Excellence means serving our customers 24 hours a day. I'm talking 24/7, no sleep. Hey, Louise, make me a pot of coffee, because I'm here to serve the customers. That's as if you were at an all-night diner. That's what you'd say.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We're going up. If Geico were a food group, we would be the vegetables, not the meat.
You squeeze, and squeeze, but all your scissors do is freeze. Now your cut looks a mess, and your hands have aches and pains. Not anymore. Introducing cordless Smart Scissors by Singer, the fast, easy, and pain-free way to cut almost anything. Smart Scissors are lightweight, fit comfortably in your right or left hand, and power through the thickest task with ease. Watch. Quickly cut stacks of coupons for huge savings. Easily glide through 2 layers of tough denim for a pair of shorts. Or follow a curved pattern on thick quilting with precision and speed. Smart Scissors even cuts hard leather without getting stuck in the cut. Just slide the safety switch on. Then simply press down the handle. And 2 sharp stainless steel blades automatically cut at super high speeds. Gently let up, and they stop on their own. Whether it's vinyl, satin, corduroy, or velvet, Smart Scissors cuts them all. Watch out! Regular scissors can pop this balloon, but not Smart Scissors. The cutting blades are safely tucked in, making them ideal for the entire family. They're perfect for gift wrapping, scrapbooking, and sheets of school pictures. Take them outside for patio carpet or garden cover. Plus,